The most quoted book in the world about keeping a calm mind was never written to be read. Marcus Aurelius wrote it at night, in army camps on the northern frontier, while running a war and an empire at once. He was not teaching anyone. Every line is addressed to one person, himself. And you can hear it. The same problems come back, again and again, because he kept failing at them, which is what makes the book useful. These are not 10 inspiring quotes. They are 10 instructions a man wrote down because he knew he would need them again in the morning. George Long's public domain translation, with the passage on screen every time, so you can check me. One thing first, because getting it backwards ruins the book. People hear the word Stoic and picture a man feeling nothing. Nothing here reads like numbness. He is irritated in these pages, grieving, tired, impatient with himself. That is why he needs rules. Stoic calm is not an absence of feeling. It is a procedure you run once the feeling has arrived. Rule 1. The disturbance is never the thing. If thou art pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs thee, but thy own judgment about it. And it is in thy power to wipe out this judgment now. He does not say the thing is unreal, or that it should not hurt. He says the pain enters through a judgment, and the judgment is his. Look at Long's verb, wipe out. A Roman wrote on wax, and wiping out was physical. The flat of the stylus dragged across the tablet. Not be strong. Smooth it flat, and write again. Rule 2. Delete the sentence, and you delete the injury. Take away thy opinion, and then there is taken away the complaint, I have been harmed. Take away the complaint, I have been harmed, and the harm is taken away. 2 sentences, and the second is the first one folded over. Among the shortest entries in the book, and the most easily misused. He is not claiming nothing happened. He is separating 2 things that arrive fused together. The event and the case you build about the event. The event is usually small and over. The case runs for weeks. Rule 3. Stop waiting for the retreat. Men seek retreats for themselves, houses in the country, seashores and mountains. But it is in thy power whenever thou shalt choose to retire into thyself. He admits, in the same passage, that he wants the seashore too. Thou, too, art wont to desire such things very much. A strange thing to catch an emperor saying. Then, the harder point. What he proposes instead is small and repeatable. Let thy principles be brief and fundamental. Short enough to recall on a bad afternoon, which is, more or less, what this book is. Rule 4. Do fewer things, and then fewer still. Occupy thyself with few things, says the philosopher, if thou wouldst be tranquil. But consider if it would not be better to say, do what is necessary. Watch him correct himself inside one sentence. Someone else's maxim surfaces, do few things, and he immediately improves it. Few is not the target. Necessary is. Then the part nobody quotes. A man should take away not only unnecessary acts, but also unnecessary thoughts. The calendar is the easy half. 4 in, and it is worth pausing on who is writing. The manuscript closes its first book with a line that is not philosophy at all. Among the quadi at the Granua. A note fixing the place. A river on the Danube frontier in wartime. These are field notes. 6 more. Rule 5. Do not run the audit on other people. How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only to what he does himself, that it may be just and pure. The word to sit with is trouble. This is an efficiency argument, not a moral one. Hours spent auditing another man's conduct are hours not spent on the only conduct you can move. And he knew that temptation professionally. His entire job was other people's behavior. Rule 6. Do not carry your whole life at once. Do not disturb thyself by thinking of the whole of thy life. On every occasion ask thyself, what is there in this which is intolerable and past bearing? Possibly the most practical line in the book, and notice it is a question, not a command. The dread we call my life is an aggregate. Every trouble we expect, summed, felt at once, none of them actually here. Then the line that gives it away. Thou wilt be ashamed to confess, because this one is usually bearable. It was the pile that wasn't. Rule 7. Be the promontory. Be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. This line is everywhere, and almost every version stops one sentence too early. What follows is the actual instruction, and it is a rewrite. Not, unhappy am I because this has happened to me. Instead, happy am I, though this has happened to me, because I continue free from pain, neither crushed by the present, nor fearing the future. The rock is not the lesson. One event takes 2 grammars, and he is choosing between them on paper. Rule 8. The best revenge. The best way of avenging thyself is not to become like the wrongdoer. Written by a man who could have avenged himself on nearly anyone alive. That is what makes it worth reading twice. He is not saying revenge is unavailable. He is pricing it. The reprisal would require him to become, for a while, the thing he objects to. He had the option and declined it. Rule 9. Dig. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. Watch how much work the last 5 words do. The consoling half, that there is a spring inside you, gets printed on things. The condition does not. If thou wilt ever dig. The water is under something, and the digging is not a one-time excavation. Same shovel, tomorrow. Which is why this book repeats itself. Rule 10. This and no more is enough. Thy present opinion founded on understanding, and thy present conduct directed to social good, and thy present disposition of contentment with everything which happens. That is enough. The last rule is the smallest and the most demanding. What you think now, what you do now, how you take what arrives now. No mention of the year, the outcome, the legacy. The man running the largest job in the known world reduced his obligation to 3 things, all in the present tense. That is enough is a full stop. It closes the account. 10 rules, and not one promises you will feel calm. They describe what you do when you don't. Take away the opinion. Unfold the pile. Ask what is actually intolerable here. Dig again. He wrote them down repeatedly because they did not stick the first time or the 40th. That is not a failure of the method. That is the method. All 10 passages are in the description with their book and section numbers, so you can read them where they sit. If this was worth your quiet, stay a while. There is one idea here every day.